If you have questions, concerns, and are just lost when it comes to planning for retirement, meet Steve Hoyle and Derrick Caldwell of the Hoyle Financial Group. Now, you've heard people complain about our national debt. Well, it's because we owe over $35 trillion. The interest alone on that debt is $3 billion a day. Now, the Fed cutting rates, it helps just a little bit because 1 full point will knock that down to $2.5 billion a day. So is this another incentive, Steve, for the Fed to continue to lower rates? I mean, the bottom line is we need help out here.
Jess, we have to do something about the national debt. We're saddling the next 6 generations with our debt, and somebody's got to pay for it. We've either got to get better with our money or we've got to raise taxes. And I don't think raising taxes is the way to fix it. I think that we need to sit down and really figure out as a country what is important to the Americans. Safety, security, health care, all of these things that we've got to do. The big hot topic is Social Security. Will it be there for us? We've got to figure that out. But we have to attack our national debt. But I'm going to tell you something. By just raising taxes and throwing more money at it is not a way to fix it. And I think for Americans, taxes are on sale. You know, people go, what? Taxes are huge. No, they're not. If you look historically where taxes are, Jess, they're lowest when you consider the deductions and all the different things. But if the Trump tax package is not renewed in 2026, and listeners, just has his name on it. I don't care if you vote red, blue, or purple. That has nothing to do with it. But if nothing's done, they're just going to go by the wayside. And we're going to have a 30 to 35%. Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Wow.
30 to 35% increase in this country in taxes. How are we going to pay it? Just when we talk about taxes today, I think of how can you fix your retirement where it's tax efficient? If taxes are going to go up that much, why don't you get serious now and create a tax plan to have tax-free retirement all the way through? It's so important. You know, so many people are coming to see us. We probably do 4 or 5 new appointments every week of people coming and wanting a tax strategy. And we really sit down and show them how to have their Social Security tax-free, get around the Medicare tax. But what it is, the elephant in the room, figuring out how to do a Roth conversion, pay the taxes either in 1 year, 2 years, over 5 years, and be one and done. So when you start taking that retirement income, it's tax-free. So, yes, you and I can't change the national debt, but we sure can change the debt on our street. Not about Pennsylvania Avenue. It's not about Wall Street. It's about our street. And when we sit down with people and have that conversation and say, look at this, it's a game changer. I have several clients that just, you know, when they got ready to retire, we figured out those Roth conversions.
You know, when it comes from either personal debt to national debt to taxes on the rise, the bottom line is there's been a lot of financial challenges that we've all been going through. So when it comes to saving for retirement, how are we doing overall? Well, Cheryl Casone of Fox Business outlines a new study from Bankrate.
57% of Americans say they feel behind on their retirement savings, and 48% of workers with a specific retirement goal don't think they're going to be able to meet it. That's according to a new Bankrate survey. Ramsey Solutions research also finding 37% of Americans say they owe more on credit cards than they have in retirement savings. This as Americans are struggling financially due to high inflation and high interest rates.
All right. So, Steve, if you have the opportunity to sit down with somebody, maybe they're 3 to 5 years pre-retirement, how can you help keep them on track?
You know, Jess, the numbers never lie. I say that over and over again, but it's the truth. When you sit down and figure out how much money you're pulling out of the ATM every month and kind of what it's for and where it's going for, you know, you're giving it to your kids. Are you eating out on it? What are you doing on that? And it's great if that's important to you. But people that want to retire and retire well have to figure out what their thing is. You know, what are the priorities in retirement? New cars, clothes, travel, whatever that is. But I see so many people, they can't control their expenses, so they're not making the contributions they need to make systematically to their retirement. You know, I had a couple in last week that said, there's 2% more of my match for my company that I'm not getting. So there's two sides of it. What employee contributes, what the employer contributes. That's 4%. We did that for 20 years and compounded it. I'm telling you something, you could have scraped them up off the floor when they realized how much money they're leaving behind.
Yikes.
So Is that cooking dinner an extra night every week? What is that thing that you can give up to make that contribution to have the retirement you've always dreamed of? Those numbers never lie. I think one of the things that make Derrick and I work so well together with our clients is I'm a big picture person. He's a details guy. And I'm telling you, he'll sit down with people and he'll come to me and say, Steve, there's a problem here. Where's this money going? And it's amazing. Had some people come a couple of years ago and they were spending $30,000 at Sam's every quarter. It was killing them. Other people that, they go gambling. Once a quarter, they're going to Oklahoma and gambling and, $25,000. But for some people, if they're doing $5,000 or $2,000, it's killing that plan.
Sure. Yeah.
So I think it's figuring out those numbers and being consistent. I tell people, you don't have to have a budget, but you have to have an estimation of what the numbers are because the numbers don't lie. So then just once you figure out that number, then we talk about it's 25% about numbers, 75% about the emotions. So how are we going to fix that where we enjoy cooking at home or we enjoy going on a picnic or we do this or we do that? How do we make up that gap that's good for our family? It's really figuring it out. And I know it sounds really kind of elementary, but it's not.
Yeah, but I think you're right. It sounds elementary. It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised how quick things add up. I'm guilty of it. It's really easy to go on Amazon and start clicking away. And all of a sudden, it's really easy to start swiping your card. Then you get that American Express bill and you go, what? How much money did I spend? And then before you know it, with high interest and everything else, you can't even get ahead of these bills and you're under amount. I get it.
Well, we helped a couple months ago that came in. And Jess, we started looking at their food cost, okay? 86% of what they ate was DoorDash. I mean, they had it all delivered. When I realized that she was having her $4, that's what I call Starbucks, $4 coffee delivered, Jess, it's only been the last couple of years I'll even go there. Mine's $3.52 because I don't get the fancy. And, I used to give my daughter a hard time in college about that expense, so I have to be careful. Right. But I'm going to tell you something. She went home and fixed it. And you know what? She told me when I saw her at a review the last time, she said, it's kind of become a mental game. Most people do crossword puzzles and stuff. Now I do. How can I cut that cost? Jess, I've never done DoorDash. I have a pizza delivered once a quarter. But if I can't get my happy self up and dressed to go get that food, I don't need that food, okay?
Yeah. The cost of convenience adds up real fast.
It's funny, living in a high-rise in Dallas. When I'm in Roll, I don't. But when I'm in Dallas, live in a high-rise, and I just can't tell you what a big business it is on all the food being delivered. I mean, or the one cup of coffee from Starbucks or wherever. It's huge. I mean, people even get like a bunk cake, like a little individual bunk cake delivered. Yeah. I mean, I'm laying in bed and I want a bunk cake. I mean, it's...
Yeah, what's $5 at the store is $15 to be delivered. It's ridiculous.
It's incredible. It's just incredible. So, but Jess, I have to go back and say, if that's your thing, cut something else out. I mean, I have a client that drives an older car so she can eat out of her meal. That's great, but she knows what her priorities are, and she's going to retire and retire well. So the numbers never lie, but let us at Hoyle Financial help you figure that out because you know what? We're not going to tell you. We're going to lay it out there, and it figures itself out.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's all about finding that balance, right? And what you want and what your lifestyle currently is if you're working and what you want it to be in retirement. And it really is about, the numbers never lie, as you say. So it's kind of like giving yourself an income 101 class. How much money have you saved? How is it going to work for you? Is it going to withstand your current habits and lifestyle as you enter retirement? Because the one thing that changes when you go to retirement is what? The paycheck stops. That doesn't mean the bills stop. That doesn't mean your wants and desires to have Starbucks 5 days a week stop. It matters where's that money going to come from? How are you going to create that income?
And what's funny is if you have a spouse, the spouse will tell you what the problem is. They always know it, right?
That's right. There's always one.
Opposites attract. Opposites attract, Jess. And I'm
There's
telling
always
you,
one.
It's funny. We're sitting over here. This one's kind of going, oh, wow. And the other one's going,
I've been saying this for years. Yeah.
It's the same thing with kids when you start meeting with some new prospects. We're talking about, and I said, well, do y'all give any money to your kids? she does or he does.
Yeah.
And it's funny when I'm telling you, one of the funnest things in my career the past 35 years is when I get people to really say it to their kids and they do it. You just got to tell those kids next time they borrow money, I'm going to give it to you. But just understand, when I run out of money, I'm moving in with you.
That's right.
And the look on their kids' faces, they kind of get that lip, and but Jess, it's real. I mean, Jess, I really see lots of people go without in the end days of retirement because they did it for their kids. Or the other big one, and the elephant in the room is we can't spend any money because our kids are going to need it. You know what I say? Kick those kids out of the nest and get them working. Tell your princess daughter-in-law how it really is. I mean, it's just, it's hard,
But it's all part of that conversation that you have, though, is, do you want to spend every last penny in retirement? Do you want to save some for the kids and the grandkids? How do you want that to be done? I mean, guys, it really is more than just I've saved. Here's my pile of money. I mean, the conversation, as you say all the time, it's a lot of little things that equal up to the big picture of retirement. And I'll say it again. You can give Steve and the team 2 hours of your time to have this conversation to see where you stand. Or, sure, go ahead and give your boss 2 years and don't think about it again. Common sense tells me 2 hours with Steve and the team makes more sense. Steve, for those listening that are, listen, it's a big decision. It's a little stressful to have this conversation, whether you're right on the, the cusp of retirement or maybe you're 5 or 10 years away from it. Sitting down with somebody like yourself and saying, all right, Steve, I trust you. I've heard the show. I've heard great things about you. How can you help me? It is a big decision to do that. What is that first meeting with you and the team like? And then most importantly, what sets you apart from those other financial guys?
Well, I think just the end of your question is we're retirement planners. There's great people that are stockbrokers, all different kinds of financial professionals, but we really focus on that final phase of life. We're retirement planners, but we're also a full service firm, so we can help you in all aspects of your monies and that plan. But I think the other thing is when you talk about coming to see us, it's about the Texas two-step. We're going to take it at the pace that you want to take it. I had a couple come in last week and they had lots of different statements. And I said, great. If you really want to talk about how to fix your tax plan, we need the last couple of years of your tax returns. We sent them a secure link when they got home to upload that to us. Or we need this or that statement. That client mentioned all of a sudden, we have a life insurance policy, $1 million term that's getting too expensive. Well, then you need to send it to me. Let's look at it. But, when we've talked a lot about overcoming expenses and having income in retirement and tax planning, but we're going to talk about estate planning. We're going to talk about Social Security planning, how to optimize that Social Security and not turn it on at 62, even if you retire, using that right bucket of money at the right time, Jess. We're going to look at legacy planning, how to leave money behind, how to leave the correct money behind to your heirs. We're really going to help you figure out all different aspects of retirement planning. So when you come to us, we have people that want to get started and they want to dig in. We have people that want to sit down and spend an hour talking about how our philosophies are the same or how they're different. So I think it's different strokes for different folks. But at the end of the day, we want to get each other comfortable where we're able to be honest with you. We think if you continue to spend money this way, this is what's going to happen. If retirement is important to you, you want to start looking at Retirement 101, or you have a great plan and you want to see if all your I's or your T's are crossed, and let us kind of do a review. It's up to you. But one way or another, we need to sit down and get to know each other. I'm Steve Hoyle, and what I can assure you is we're going to make a pivotal difference in that final phase of life called retirement. Even if you're in it, we're going to make things, we're going to make it so much better. It's interesting what we do for our clients. We like them to have that added peace of mind and get 8 hours of sleep every night, and we want the same for you.
If you'd like to sit down with Steve and Derrick or a member of the Hoyle Financial Group, visit retiretexasstyle.com.
Investment advice offered through Hoyle Wealth Management, a Texas-registered investment advisor able to provide investment advice in states where it's registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Steve Hoyle, Texas Insurance License 716036. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Hoyle is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Hoyle is licensed in your state, please call 806-371-9473.